Hello everybody. In today's installment of Tater Tot Academy, we're going to be looking at order of operations. We're just going to take a look at this from a few different ways, and we're going to get started with the basic please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or PEMDAS. And this is just the ways in which we're going to figure out when we have a large series of numbers, which ones we do first, because if we go in the wrong order, we get a wrong answer almost every time. I mean, you can get lucky every now and then, but most of the time we're going to end up with the wrong answer. So what does this mean? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Or penguins eat mayonnaise during a storm. Who knows? We can make any little acronym we want. But please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. That seems to be the most common. So hey, please, that's parentheses. E for excuse, that's exponents. M for multiply. Dear, D, divide. Aunt, add. And Sally, S for subtract. Go ahead and take a look at this here. And I have them all set up one by one. So let's start with please in the parentheses. Okay, so we have our parentheses right here. And we say 4 plus 3. 4 plus, and then in parentheses, negative 3 plus 5. And this one you can see, we actually doesn't really matter which order we go in, but we're just practicing this for the parentheses sake so that we can see that this would say 4 plus 2, because we'd do our negative 3 plus 5 first. On the next one, exponents, if we take a look and we have an expression like this, it would be 4 squared plus 3. Well, we see exponents need to be done before addition or subtraction, so we'd get 16 plus 3. Okay, on our third one, the multiply, this is 2 plus 3 times 3. So if we write this out correctly, we should do the multiply first of the 3 times 3. So we get the 2 plus 9. On the next one, we'll step in and take a look at how divide can happen. And this one says 6 plus 3 divided by negative 3. Well, 6 plus 3 divided by negative 3, we need to do the division first. So we have to do 3 divided by a negative 3. And if we remember our rules of integers from earlier, we'll see that a 3 divided by a negative 3, the signs are different. So it's going to be negative, and it's a 1. So 6 minus 1, or 6 and a negative 1. The add and subtract, that's just when it's the last thing and the only things left, that's what you do, is add or subtract. So we have the 2 plus 3 is 5, or the negative 9 plus 3 is negative 6. Okay, let's continue on to this, and we're going to look at a couple problems here. So this says 6, positive 8, divided by negative 2. Well, we know we need to do the division before we do the addition and subtraction, so let's rewrite this and do 6. And then I have a positive 8 divided by negative 2. Positive 8 divided by negative 2, rules of integers, signs are different. It's negative. So 6 minus 4. So a 6 and a negative 4. Well, now, rules of integers, I have a positive 6 and a negative 4. Signs are different. Keep the sign of the larger, which is positive. And the difference between 6 and 4 is 2. Okay, let's go ahead and look at a couple others. So on this one, we have 4 times 2 squared plus 3 times 4. So please excuse me, we don't have any parentheses, but we do have E for exponents, so let's go ahead and do our exponents. So 4, and I'm going to rewrite this with a dot, so 4 times 2 squared should be 4, and a positive 3 times 4. Well, we're going to go ahead and do our next steps, and it says multiplication and division. We can always put a little and sign between them because multiplication and division hold the same weight in order of operations, just like addition and subtraction hold the same weight. So I can do any multiplication or division as long as they're separated by an add sign. So I'm going to do both sets of these. So 4 times 4, we'll get our 16. And then a positive 3 times a positive 4, we'll get that down to a positive 12. Well, if you look at that, that's got to be pretty simple. We don't have any negative numbers thrown in here, so we just have to add 16 and 12. So that's really nice. We'll just get our 28. And, of course, we see that as positive. So we have a positive 28. Let's see if we kick it up a notch on the next step here. And oh, yes, we do. So now we've got a whole bunch of different kinds of numbers in here that we have to deal with. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So P, parentheses. Okay, I'll start with my parentheses. Let's rewrite everything then, and we'll get a 2. Positive 5 times 3 squared and a negative 2 and a positive 3 And then in parentheses, I have a 5 and a negative 8. Oh, signs are different. When signs are different, I keep the sign of the larger number. Hey, that 8, that's bigger than that 5, and that 8 is negative. And I find the difference, so negative 3. So I've finished up with what's inside of parentheses. I can go to my E for exponents. So I'll have a 2. Positive 5. Even though there's a times there, I've got to do that exponent first. So times 9. A negative 2. A positive 3 times a negative 3. On this next step, let's go ahead and do all of our multiplication steps then. And we'll look at this as 2. Now I have a positive 5 times a negative 9. Oh, great, that's a positive 45. Draw my little line so I know. Always want to make sure I'm doing everything as I go. So now I have a negative 2 just thrown in the middle here. Now I have a positive 3 times a negative 9. Rules of integers say when we're multiplying and dividing, if the signs are different, it is negative. So 3 and a negative 3 becomes a negative 9. This is beautiful. All I have left is addition and subtraction. I can do those in any order I want to, so that doesn't really matter. So I'll combine this with a 2 and the positive 45 to get me a positive 47. And then I'll combine that negative 2 and negative 9. Well, if the signs are the same, I keep the sign, which is negative, and I add 11. All right, great. And my final step, 47, a positive 47 and a negative 11. Signs are different, so I keep the sign of the larger, which is positive, and the difference between those two is 36. I think I have a couple more examples here, so let's take a look. All right, another one where we get all the different parts. So let's start with parentheses. Looking through this, I'm just going to search out my parentheses. So I have a 4, a positive 3, times 2, negative 6, in parentheses, a 2 and a negative 4. Signs are different. Keep the sign of the larger, which is the negative, and the difference is 2, and then a plus 3 squared. So I'm finished with my parentheses. Let's go ahead on to exponents. So rewrite everything I always want to rewrite. When I rewrite it, make sure that I get things correct. Make sure it looks great, and I do my 3 squared, which is 9. So I've done my parentheses, I've done my exponents. Now I am searching for my multiplication and division. So we'll look across, we will rewrite what we don't need. 3 times 2 here, that is a positive 6. Negative 6 times negative 2, signs are the same, so it is positive 12 and a positive 9. All right, all that I'm left with is addition and subtraction. Let's combine everything on out. Positive 4 and a positive 6 is a positive 10. Positive 12 and a positive 9 is a positive 21. And finally, a positive 10 and a positive 21 is a positive 31. Here at the end, we've gone through, we've looked at please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, that's parentheses, exponents, our multiplication and division, which do hold the same weight, and our addition and subtraction, which do hold our same weight. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Let's get to know that, and I gave you 3 practice questions. Kept the difficulty level up a little bit, let you work on them and try. You'll see on the next slide it will give you the answers. So if you want to check those answers after, I would pause right here so you don't go on to the answers until you've worked the questions out yourself. So that's it. I'm going to show you the answers for probably just a couple seconds, but I'd like to say goodbye. Thank you for tuning in to Tater Tot Academy. And today we had order of operations. We'll bring you some more stuff real soon. Thank you.